You guys are so pretty. Yeah. Good morning. I'm on my way to a second baseline appointment today. I had one 4 days ago. It's Tuesday. Had one on Friday, and my numbers weren't ready yet. So they had me take a down regulator, so like Cetrotide, for the last 3 days, and then they told me to come back in today for another baseline to see if I'm ready to start stimulants. So I guess we will see. I'm very interested to see if this new protocol works differently. I'm hopeful. I feel like it'll be good. I've done a lot of Googling, which is probably something you're not supposed to do, but just reading on different approaches for different protocols for people with diminished ovarian reserve. And I read that this protocol that the doctor is attempting has really good luck, especially for people who don't respond to massive amounts of stimulation, which is what they tried last time, and it just didn't work for me. So I'm anxious to hear. So I'll have an ultrasound and blood work this morning, and I will know by the end of the day today what the plans are. So we will find out soon, and I'll let you guys know. Yesterday was my baseline appointment, my second baseline appointment, and by yesterday afternoon the nurse let me know that my estrogen had come down significantly. I think it had halved. It was in the 180s and the 160s, and yesterday it was in the 80s, which is great, but they want to see it below 50. So they told me to continue taking the Cetrotide and to come back in 2 days for another baseline. So this will be my third baseline tomorrow morning. And we'll see if my blood work comes back low enough so that we can start. My AFC number was still in the same range. On Friday it was, I think, 16 or 15. And then yesterday it was 15 or 14. So it was just one different. So that was good to see. I feel like that's a good AFC number, so we're really hopeful that that's a good sign, but who knows? With low AMH, you really don't know. So I guess we'll see what tomorrow brings. So today was the day of my third baseline this morning. It's now like 7 o'clock at night. I had my baseline about 12 hours ago this morning, where they did another ultrasound and blood work, and I heard from the nurse a couple hours ago that I was finally cleared, yay, to start our second cycle of IVF. So my glasses are a little crooked. I was just laying down. So I just replied with a question. She said that I was cleared to start, and they were going to have me start Clomid for the next, I will take it for 5 days, and then they were going to have me start Follistim, Organal F, and Menopur on, let's see, 4 days from right now. So, and then that was going to go until, I guess, until I triggered. So I just said, can you let me know an idea of a window of when the egg retrieval will be? Because I wanted to tell my boss, and I also just wanted to know. And the nurse didn't reply right away, but it's the good nurse. And So I knew I'd hear from her. And then I got a call while I was at work, just finishing up, and she said, I was just about to reply to you and I decided I was going to call you instead. She's like, it'll just be easier. So she said she looked and saw that what the doctor was planning on doing was a little bit of an elongated process. And she remembered that we told her, you know, when we were leaving for vacation back before our first IVF cycle. So she went and talked to the doctor and said, you know, if you do this process, we're not going to be able to do an egg retrieval on her because she's going to be out of town. And the doctor told her, okay, then we'll just start. She said she'll have me start the Clomid and the injectable stimulants tonight. And that way my egg retrieval will be like, I think like 9 to like 15 days from now or something like that. 16 days from now, 14 days, I'm not really sure. And I asked if that's going to affect the odds of it being successful at all. And she said no. She said that the standard protocol for what they're attempting is
sorry.
Oh, you can see what there she is. She just walked in. So the standard protocol for what they were attempting is to do Clomid and the injectables at the same time. And I guess my doctor was trying something that is, I think, new and not really done a ton. So she said that the results they're hoping for, they get from starting the Clomid at the same time as the Menopur and the Follicle organolef. So that made me feel good. I don't think it's going to affect the chances too much. It might be better than what the doctor was trying for or worse, but at least this is what has been done and was shown to work for people with low AMH who don't respond to the high stimulants. So we're really excited. I currently have an ice pack on my abdomen because a friend of ours told us that she iced it, and I tried it, and man, it makes it so much better. So if anyone's going through this, ice it before you take the shot, or give yourself the shot, or whatever it may be. I don't even feel it. It's so much better. And one of them makes me itch really badly, and the icing really helps. So thank you to our friend and to Jill who told me to ice it after when the one was itching. It really does make a big difference. So that's a word to the wise. But yeah, now we're gonna start all of the stims and go back to the doctor in 4 days for ultrasound follow-up. Oh, this morning I had one less antral follicle than I did at my last appointment. And I asked the nurse today when I was talking to her if my AFC count looks the same as last cycle or better, and she said it actually looks a lot better, and they're really pleased with the numbers. So she said the AFC count doesn't mean that we won't see more than that if I respond. So fingers crossed I respond and we get at least that many to, you know, mature. So we'll see. You have anything to say?
I have nothing to say.
Okay. All right, well.
I'm not camera ready right now.
Oh, okay. And there's a pile of sheets and towels on our bed that we have to put away. So anyway, we will know a little more in a few days. So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right, so I wanted to give a quick update on my last few monitoring appointments and how I've been feeling. Today's day 7 of stims, and I've missed a couple of days because of how I was feeling. I was not feeling up to pulling out the camera. And I also, by the time I got home, I wasn't feeling well, and I don't really have a lot of time once I leave because I drive on my own and I drive by a lot of cops all the time, and I don't want to be vlogging and driving very much. So right now Jill's driving and we are on our way to Trader Joe's, so I thought it was a good time to give an update. Sorry, we need a new stand here. So anyway, I had my appointment on Sunday, correct? Mm-hmm. And that was my first monitoring appointment. And that was for day 4 of STIMS. So I have a little book that I wrote all my stuff in, and I wrote everything from last cycle in it, what the results were of each monitoring appointment, and what my follicle count looked like and size and everything, which there wasn't a lot to report last time. And then what my estrogen level or estradiol level was. I noticed in my emails from the nurses, some of them call it estradiol and some of them call it estrogen, but they were the same tests. So I wrote that kind of stuff down so that we could see a difference. And I also wrote the medications that I was on and what they told me, what kind of changes. I think are you going west? North. Okay, sorry.
Good.
But anyway, we had our day 4 appointment, like 2 appointments ago now, and the results were, let me see, so my estrogen was at 75. No, that's not right. Yeah, it was 75. So we know that I'm a poor responder and I don't respond quickly. So that wasn't surprising, but my day 4 from last cycle was, estrogen was 31. So that's a good jump. It's more than double. So we were happy to see that. And then my follicles were all still quite small, which isn't shocking for me. And I was a little upset because we got there a little bit later, and we stayed out a little bit too late on Saturday night and got home really late, and we're just so tired. So the monitoring hours go until 8:30, and I walked in just before that, which I've seen people walk in after that time and they take them. I was one of, I think, 4 women left, so they call a whole group of people back at a time for an ultrasound, and they drop you off in rooms along the way. So I was the last one to get dropped off to a room in the last group of like 4 women. So I think I was completely the last person, and I felt bad about that because I usually try to show up pretty early. But I would think I would get regular care, and the ultrasound tech was not one I'd ever seen, and she seemed so rushed. Jill was with me, and I've never had a monitoring appointment that was that. I mean, the ultrasounds are always really fast, but it made the regular ones look like they took forever. It was so fast, and she, they measure your lining, then they look at both your ovaries, measure them, and count the follicles on each side. And she did the first 2 steps, and then she got to my second ovary. I don't think she measured it, and she just wrote that it was clear, meaning there were no follicles in it, but I could see some in there because I've been seeing them as they go, and I've got some ultrasound techs who are really great and explain to me what I'm looking at. So, I mean, they're not really supposed to tell you super detailed results, but I mean, I'm looking at ultrasounds every other day now, so you understand what they're looking at, especially what they tell you sometimes. So I was a little discouraged by that because she put that there was nothing there, basically. It was clear, and at my last appointment I had like 6 or 7 angel follicles in there, and it had been 2 days, and I had been on STIMS, so I didn't feel like that seemed realistic. And the other side still had the same amount of angel follicles, and maybe they'd grown a tiny bit, so we didn't see a lot of results. So my doctor, let's see, they increased my follistim from 225 to 300, so that would be Gonal-F or follistim. They kept everything else the same. So I did the increase on Sunday, then I got a migraine on Sunday and on Monday, and it was excruciating. And I told Jill that I had migraines on days 4 and 5 last time as well. So we looked into it, and it's just often due to the huge hormonal shift. So by day 6, which was yesterday, my headache was gone or really dull. I have a little one today. I think it's probably from the meds, but also it's been raining here in spring. So that's to be expected. I'm prone to headaches anyway, so it doesn't feel like the awful migraine that I had on Sunday and Monday, so which I'm really grateful for. So my report back said that the right side was clear from that day, and that on the left side, they were all under 10 millimeters still. So, and then they had me come back in 2 days later, Tuesday, for day 6 monitoring. So that was yesterday. And yesterday my estrogen level was 159. Last cycle on day 6 it was 51, so it's over 100 higher, so that's a good sign. And yesterday on my follicles on the right, suddenly it wasn't clear anymore. There were follicles back, but they were all still smaller than 10, like significantly smaller than 10. And then on my left side, she measured 5 of them that were all really close to 10. So like 8, 9 point something. So hopefully at my next appointment, those will be above 10. I hope, because I know they got to get past 10 in order to get big enough to retrieve. So we're hopeful, but we were really happy to see that I was responding. Last cycle at day 6 was when the doctor told me that my response was really slow, and that if they didn't see improvement, they were going to cancel the cycle. This time, I didn't get that note, and they did not increase my medication after yesterday's appointment. So I felt like those were decent signs. I know they're not where we need to be yet, but it is still early days. So yesterday, or 2 days ago, I finished the Clomid because I only took it for 5 days. So now I'm just on the Menopur and the follicle. And so now I go back in tomorrow, day 8, for another scan and blood work. So I'm anxious and excited to see what that shows. The ultrasounds are kind of fun because you see right away. I mean, if you can interpret it, I try to, at the bottom, it says on the bottom of the screen when they're measuring the follicles how big they are. So I try to just remember that in my head. And then I text Jill right away so that I have a record of it so that we remember it a little bit more. And then they reach out to me in the later half of the day and let me know where we're at. So that's my update. I've definitely been a little grumpier this time than last time. Yesterday, Jill was laughing at me all evening because I was so grumpy and just said I was being so funny. And then she would laugh at me and I'd get more grumpy. And this morning we were laughing about it, so she said she was happy that I was back to my old self. So I was just tired and grumpy, and I slept last night like I had taken something to sleep, which I hadn't. So I think I was just overtired. The 2 days I had migraines, I did not sleep almost at all, so which is awful. So I think that also contributed to it. But today, aside from this headache I have right now, I feel a lot better. So I'm really grateful for that. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. So today is day 8. I had my monitoring this morning. Got the results this afternoon. My estradiol level was 190, so it went up like 40-ish. And yeah, maybe a little bit under that. And this morning I was able to see that the follicles on the left side, well, both sides, had definitely gotten bigger. I feel like I'm getting really good at reading these. But on my right, they're still all under 10, but there were a handful of them that were really close to 10. So I don't know if they'll be able to make it or not. And on my left side, I officially have one's over 10, which is very exciting. I think I had one that was over 11, and then 2 or 3 that were over 10, and then several that were very close to 10. So I think that at least hopefully 3, but hopefully we'll get some more that are bigger. So that was really exciting. The only issue was when I had my blood draw. The woman who always draws my blood is so good, and I'm a really hard stick, and she told me to switch up my arms so that I don't keep getting stuck in the same arm. And today, I think she had a difficult time, and she didn't let the rubbing alcohol dry before she put the needle in, and my arm burned for hours afterward. And I had a face on, and she's like, "What's wrong?" Because I don't usually, she's like, "You never grimace." And I was like, "It's just burning." She's like, "I'm so sorry. That's my fault. I didn't let the rubbing alcohol burn, and it got into my vein or something." I've never had that happen before, and it hurt so bad. So that was the worst part. But everything else is good. I'm still feeling good. Just starting to feel really bloated. and having a little bit of like kind of just achiness. I think it's just bigger ovaries, so we'll see. I am going back in on day 10 in 2 days, which will be Saturday, for another round of monitoring. So hello, so today is day 12, and I am going to update for day 10 and day 12. I had a really crazy weekend and I didn't have a lot of time or energy to pick up the camera. So on day 10, we consult my little journal. Day 10 was Saturday, so we got up really early. We had a super full day, so Jill wanted to come with me because she's not able to come during the week. And we got my results back. My estrogen was 524, so the day before I think it was under 200. So that was a really, or 2 days before. So that was a really good jump from day 8 to day 10. And then my follicles, I had one at 14 and a couple at 12 and then a couple at 10 and then several under 10. So we were really happy with that. That's so much better than last cycle. So that made us really happy. So that day they had me start the ganirelix, or however, ganirelix, I'm not sure how you say that. But it's the same as the Cetrotide. So they had me start that as soon as I got the message that day. And then they told me to take it every morning until instructed otherwise. So I think that'll be until a trigger. And then that was day 10. Day 11 was yesterday. And that's when I first started feeling super bloated and just my abdomen was tender. Like, you know, leaning against the counter to do dishes. And it was really tender. So, and then this morning I woke up and I was trying to bend over to pick up the dishes for the cat, for our cat's food. And I was like, I don't even think I can do this. It's down a step on a landing and it's a pretty far bend over anyway. And this morning I was like, ooh, this is really uncomfortable. So Jill's doing it for me from now on. I think she's nervous. So then this morning I went in and I had my day 12 monitoring. Went really well, super quick this morning, which I loved. And I got my results back this afternoon. My estrogen is 766, so that's like 240 something up from 2 days ago, which is awesome. And then my follicles, my biggest one is 17, and then I've got 6 that are between 10 and 16. And I was watching it and I couldn't keep track, but I think 1 or 2 of them, well, I think one on the right was at 10 and then everything else was 12, 14, 16. So that's really good. We're really happy with that. I mean, for anyone who doesn't have low AMH, that's nothing. But for us, we're pretty pleased with that. So today my doctor said to continue everything, continue the same amount of Follistim and Menopur and the ganirelix. So I'm going back tomorrow though. So this is my first time going back the next day. They told me my egg retrieval would be anywhere from yesterday to Thursday. Today's Monday. So I'm thinking that tomorrow might be one of my last monitoring appointments. I'm really hoping. So we're leaving for our cruise on, well, we leave for Florida on Saturday morning. So, and they've known this all along, so I'm a little nervous, but they know what they're doing, right? I'm really nervous about it, but at least we're going to be on vacation. We already packed this weekend so that we knew we didn't have to worry about anything this week. Definitely a little stressed about that, but it'll be okay. And then we get to just relax, and our cruise, the first, I think 3 days are just sailing. So it's not even like off exploring. It's exploring the ship. So, I'm hoping that that is okay. I know I'm not going to be comfortable, but I usually am really good with pain, so fingers crossed for us. So we're really excited. This seems to be working at least a lot better than last time, and I'll be back tomorrow with another update. So, all right, my final update was day 13 monitoring. My estrogen was over 1,000, and I have to look at my notes. I had just a couple follicles on my right side that were above 10 and then several that were below 10. But that one hasn't really come to the party at all, so we weren't surprised by that. And then on my left, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that were mature size. So I'm really excited about that. And then there was several under 10. That was a couple of days ago. They told me that I had taken my last Ganirelix that morning, and that I could take my stims if I had meds left on that night. And then that was going to be the last of all those medications. They told me I had to wake up at 1:30 in the morning to take my trigger shot, which was a bummer because I had to work the next morning. But my egg retrieval is scheduled for 1:30 p.m. so I had to do it exactly 36 hours ahead of time, which was 1:30 in the morning. That was not very fun. I'm not good at falling back asleep, so I laid there awake for a little while afterward. But that's okay. So I've just been ready and excited, and actually feel pretty good. I've been trying to take it a little easier, just a little like bloating and discomfort, but that's about it. So we are actually on our way to the egg retrieval right now, so keep an eye out for our next update and we'll find out how many we get.